Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters. Have you ever felt this inexplicable emptiness in your heart? This feeling that you are missing something, even when everything seems to be going well around you? What if this feeling was not a coincidence, but a call? A subtle, deep call from Allah, reminding you that you are much more than this world can offer. In this video, we will dive together into a truth that can transform your life. Allah knows your pain. He calls you, and He waits for you to respond. Get ready, because what you're about to hear could change your perspective forever. 1. Allah knows your pain. A woman was alone in her room, surrounded by the oppressive silence of the night. Tears streamed down her face, forming silent streams of sadness and despair. She felt broken. His life seemed to be falling apart piece by piece. She had lost her job, the one that allowed her to provide for her family. Her friends, those she thought she could count on, had moved away, unable to understand the depth of her suffering. Worse still, his heart seemed too heavy to bear the pain of a recent betrayal. She asked herself, "Why me? What did I do to deserve this?" Every night was a struggle against insomnia, every morning a battle against an inexplicable emptiness. But that night, amidst his tears, a thought emerged in his mind. What if I talked to Allah? It was a thought she had long neglected, carried away by the storms of life. She picked up the Quran from her shelf, a book she hadn't opened in months. Trembling, she opened it at random and came across this verse. "Do not despair of Allah's mercy. Verily, Allah forgives all sins." Surah Az-Zumar 39:53. These words seemed to speak directly to him, like balm applied to an open wound. She read the verse several times, letting each word sink into her heart. She realized that her despair, although human and natural, had no place in front of the greatness and infinite mercy of Allah. She then remembered a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, had said, "When Allah loves a servant, He tests him, and if the servant is patient, Allah elevates him in degrees." This moment was a revelation. The trials she was going through were not a punishment, but a calling. A call to return to the one who created her, the one who knew every beat of her heart. She understood that these difficulties were a purification, a way of polishing her soul as one polishes a rough diamond. What if my trials were a gift in disguise? She asked herself, the tears drying up little by little. This question shocked his mind. She thought back to the stories of the prophets, Yusuf, Joseph, thrown into a well by his own brothers, sold into slavery, wrongly imprisoned, but eventually becoming one of the most respected leaders of his time. Ayub, Job, whose patience in the face of illness, loss, and abandonment remains an eternal example for all believers. Musa, Moses, confronted by a tyrant, exiled but guided by Allah to free his people. In every story, there was one constant. Trials were bridges leading to greater closeness with Allah. She realized that her own pain could also be a bridge. That night, for the first time in a long time, she prostrated herself. She spoke to Allah as a child speaks to its parent, with honesty, with vulnerability. His words were simple but full of sincerity. "Ya Allah, I don't understand why all this is happening to me, but I have you, and I know that you understand." An unexplained peace invades his heart. It wasn't that her problems had gone away, but she had found meaning in her trials. She had found a light in the darkness. And you? Have you ever felt like your life was falling apart, that the walls around you were closing in? Maybe, like this woman, your trials are an invitation in disguise. Perhaps Allah, in His infinite wisdom, is reaching out to you. Ask yourself this question. What if my pain was not a sign of abandonment, but an opportunity to get closer to Allah? Remember what Allah says in the Quran. Allah only imposes on a soul what it can bear. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:286. Even if the challenges seem insurmountable, Allah knows the strength of your heart better than you do. Perhaps in this pain, there is a message hidden. Perhaps this video itself is a reminder, a sign that Allah is speaking to you through the most subtle means. The question is, will you listen to this call? 2. The subtle call of Allah. Listen. In the silence of the night, where even the whispers fade, a presence is felt. It's not loud, it's not pushy, but it's there. It's the breath of the wind that caresses your face. It's the twinkling of the stars that watch over you. It's the song of the birds at daybreak. Each fragment of this creation whispers a truth. Allah is near. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Allah descends every night to the nearest sky, when a third of the night remains, and he says, Who calls upon me, that I may answer him? Who asks of me, that I give him? Who seeks my forgiveness, so that I can forgive him? Imagine that. The Lord of the worlds, the one who created the heavens and the earth, comes down for you, for me, for each of us. He holds out his hand. He calls softly. But the question is, do we listen to it? The silent language of the universe. The waves crashing on the shore tell a story. They talk about constancy, return, loyalty. The wind, which blows through the branches of the trees, seems to whisper secrets of serenity and balance. Every sunrise is a promise of renewal. Every drop of rain is evidence of His mercy. And how many signs in the heavens and the earth do they pass by without their heeding? Surah Yusuf 12:105. And yet, how many of us walk through this world without noticing these signs? We run, we plan, we struggle through the twists and turns of our lives without ever slowing down to hear the subtle call of Allah. But this call is there, constant, patient. It manifests itself in the smile of a child, in the inexplicable peace that envelopes you after a prayer, in the tear that falls for no apparent reason when your heart suddenly lightens. At night, a sacred moment of intimacy. Night is a gift. In its darkness, it hides your sorrows and your weaknesses from the world. But more importantly, it is a time when you can reveal yourself before Allah, without mask, without distraction. When everyone is asleep, the waking hearts find their refuge with their Lord. Have you ever felt this peace, this serenity that invades the soul when you get up to pray in the last third of the night? Those moments when you bow down, where your words are mixed with tears, and where your heart speaks louder than your tongue? And when my servants ask you about me, then I am near. I answer the call of the one who prays to me. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:186. It is in these moments that the soul finds its peace, that the heart repairs itself. Nighttime solitude becomes an intimate conversation between you and Allah. No intermediary, no judgment, only His infinite mercy and listening, the call beyond words. Sometimes Allah's call does not come in words or verses. It hides in the trials you go through, in the delays you don't understand, in the closed doors that frustrate you. It is in these moments that Allah speaks to you the loudest. But are you listening to Him? Have you noticed how sometimes a prayer you desperately pray is not immediately answered? You wonder why. But maybe Allah is protecting you from what could harm you, or He has something in store for you that is much better than what you asked for. It may be that you hate a thing, although it is good for you, and it may be that you love a thing, although it is evil for you. And Allah knows, but you do not know. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:16. Ask yourself this question. What if the detours of my life were actually paths guided by Allah? An invitation to listen. Take a moment to close your eyes. Breathe. Listen to your heartbeat. This rhythm, constant and faithful, is a reminder that you are alive by His permission. That every breath you take is a gift, an opportunity to draw closer to Him. Allah speaks to you through everything around you, through your blessings and your trials, through your successes and your losses. But we live in a noisy world, a world that distracts us from this subtle language. Are you ready to listen? Ask yourself, am I really listening to Allah's calls in my daily life? Maybe this very moment when you are watching this video is a calling. Maybe Allah is speaking to you now through these words. The question is, will you respond? 3. A story of divine love. Imagine a man alone, walking in the burning immensity of the desert. The sand burns beneath his tired feet, and the relentless sun deprives him of all shade and respite. This man, lost and desperate, carries on his shoulders the weight of his life, his mistakes, his regrets. Its water is running out, as is its hope. Each step becomes a fight against abandonment. But as he feels his legs giving way, his tired heart takes one last leap of faith. He raises his hands to the sky, his dry lips murmuring an invocation, a supplication, a cry of love and need. O Allah, I am lost. I have nothing left, but I know that you are there. Help me, even if I do not deserve it. The miracle of a sincere call. At that moment, something incredible happens. A light breeze caresses his sunburned face. The sky, once implacable, is covered with benevolent clouds. And suddenly, a light rain begins to fall. Every drop that hits his tired skin is like a kiss from Allah, a reminder that, even in his despair, he was never abandoned. He falls to his knees, his face raised to the sky, tears mixing with the rain. At this moment, he realizes a truth that deeply shakes him. Allah's love is unconditional. No matter how far he strayed, no matter his mistakes, Allah never forgot him. It wasn't just water falling from the sky, it was a message. I am with you, always. A love greater than our faults. This man in the desert may be you. Perhaps you feel lost in life's trials, as if you are walking alone without direction. But stop for a moment and ask yourself this question. Have I really been alone? Or has Allah supported me in ways I didn't notice? Look around you. Think about those times when you thought all was lost, but a solution came, sometimes in a way you didn't expect. Think about that time you were on the verge of collapse, but an invisible force kept you going. This is the love of Allah. It is subtle, but constant. It does not depend on your actions, your merits, or your failures. He is there, like a light in the darkness, like rain in the desert. Allah reminds us in the Quran, and He granted you everything you asked of Him. If you counted the blessings of Allah, you would not be able to number them. The man is truly very unjust, very ungrateful. Surah Ibrahim 14:34. The love of Allah in invisible blessings. Sometimes we look for miracles in big things, but real miracles are often in the details. The beating of your heart, the ability to breathe, the food on your table, an unexpected smile from a loved one. All of this is a testimony to Allah's love. But how many of us actually take the time to recognize these blessings? We tend to focus on what we don't have, forgetting everything we already have. Ask yourself this question. Have I taken the time to recognize the blessings that Allah has already placed in my life? Every morning you wake up is a chance given by Allah to bring you closer to Him. Every pain you feel is a purification, an opportunity to grow spiritually. And every prayer, even whispered in despair, is heard. A love to share. The story of this man in the desert teaches us a valuable lesson. Allah's love is not only to comfort us, but also to inspire us to love others. If Allah is so merciful to us, how can we not be merciful to those around us? Maybe you know someone who feels lost, like this man in the desert. What if Allah used you to be the rain in their lives? A kind word, an act of generosity, a secret prayer for them. These simple gestures can be a manifestation of divine love. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Allah is compassionate, and He loves compassion in all matters. An eternal love. Remember, Allah's love never fades. He is there in your moments of joy and in your moments of sorrow. He is there when you call on Him and even when you forget Him. So the next time you are going through a trial, remember the man in the desert. Raise your hands, open your heart, and remember this unshakable truth. You are never alone. Allah is with you always. 4. Answer the call of Allah. Imagine this. A call, gentle and constant, resonates in your heart. Not a loud or urgent call, but a subtle invitation, full of love and mercy. This call is that of Allah, inviting you to return to Him. This is not just a reminder, but a divine opportunity offered in every moment. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Allah is happier with the repentance of His servant than a man who finds his camel after having lost it in the desert. Take a moment to imagine this scene. A man in the desert, desperate, thinking he has lost everything. Then suddenly he finds his camel, his source of survival. The joy he feels at this moment is indescribable. But Allah, in His greatness, is even happier when you turn your heart towards Him. So why hesitate? Why wait? Respond with simple but powerful actions. Responding to Allah's call does not require grandiose or inaccessible acts. Sometimes it's the simplest actions that have the biggest impact. A sincere prayer. Every time you prostrate yourself and say Subhanallah, you are responding to this call. That moment when your forehead touches the ground is the moment you are closest to Allah. Feel this closeness and let it soothe your heart. A discreet sadaqah. Giving even a little to those in need is a powerful way of responding to Allah. A coin, a piece of bread, or even a sincere smile can be a light in someone's life, and a light on your path to Allah. A kind word. Remember that sometimes a simple, "How are you?" or "I'm here for you," can transform someone's day. This too is a response to Allah's call, because He loves those who bring kindness to others. Ask yourself at this moment, what can I do today, right now, to get closer to Allah? A daily commitment. Responding to Allah's call is not a one-off act. It's a daily commitment, an intention renewed every morning. And this commitment should not be seen as a burden, but as a privilege. Allah reminds us in the Quran, "Haste to a pardon from your Lord, and a paradise as vast as the heavens and the earth, prepared for the pious." Surat Al-Imran, 3:133. Take it as a race, but a kind race. Every good deed, every prayer, every smile is a step towards this paradise that your heart desires. You don't have to be perfect to get started. Allah does not ask for perfection, but sincerity. Even a small action done with pure intention is immensely loved by Him. A constant reminder. In our daily lives, it is easy to get distracted. Work, responsibilities, concerns, all of this can take us away from our true purpose. But remember, Allah never stops calling. Even when you feel distant, He still reaches out to you. Prayer 5 times a day is a reminder of this divine call. Each Allahu Akbar is an opportunity to reconnect, to respond, to refocus. So take a break now and ask yourself this question. Have I answered Allah's call today? Why respond now? The present moment is all we have. We don't know what tomorrow will bring or if we'll have another chance. Responding to Allah's call today is a way of showing that we love Him, that we prioritize Him, and that we trust Him. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Pray as if it were your last prayer." This does not mean living in fear, but living in gratitude. Imagine every prayer, every good deed, as an offering you make to Allah. What would you say in your last prayer? What actions would you like to take? A challenge for today, I invite you to make a small commitment, A simple but meaningful gesture. Here are some ideas. Say an extra prayer today, even short, but sincere. Give something, even small, to someone in need. Call a loved one who you haven't spoken to in a long time, and show them kindness. Take a few minutes to thank Allah for at least 5 blessings in your life. These actions, no matter how small, are a way of saying to Allah, I hear you, I answer you. A path illuminated by divine light. Responding to Allah's call is more than a spiritual act. It is a path to inner peace, a source of strength in the face of challenges, and a light in times of darkness. So don't wait. Get up, take action, and feel that deep, healing connection with the one who loves you more than anyone else. What will you choose to do now to answer his call? Every breath you take is a blessing. Every beat of your heart is proof that your Creator has never abandoned you. So what are you going to do now? Will you ignore this call, or will you respond with love and sincerity? Remember, Allah does not ask for perfection, but for intention and effort. It's up to you to take the first step, and He will guide you the rest of the way. You are never alone. Respond to His call and see how your life illuminates with His light and mercy. May Allah guide you and bless you on this magnificent journey towards Him.